Welcome back to Tiny Grimes Games, and I'm here with another Star Wars Destiny video. And today I want to bring you a prediction. I think there's going to be a card that's going to win Worlds that has been flying way under the radar, and that card is Boundless Ambition. I know for myself, I haven't really fully thought about the impact of this card for a couple reasons. First of all, hand size in this game is largely irrelevant since you're drawing up to your hand size at the beginning of every turn anyway. The notion that you can draw up to your hand size mid-turn with a very limited amount of resources usually is not all that attractive. There are definitely some cases where I thought maybe it could be good. You know, late game, you have a couple sabers out, you want to have endless rerolls, but really, do you really need 9 rerolls to get there? You probably shouldn't. You know, the 3 or 4 rerolls you have should probably be enough. And so I've sort of thought about the card more in that avenue, that it's kind of a niche card, maybe a one of in a couple decks. But as I've really been reevaluating over the last couple weeks of really pushing now that envelope of consistency, right? We've been trying to find the most powerful decks, and I feel like we've isolated a lot of really powerful decks. But one of the problems sometimes with these decks is that level of consistency that they lack. And what I've been finding is that Boundless Ambition is actually a consistency card. And here's what I mean by that. The way I've been conceiving of it now in sort of this new framework is that it's a card that you include in a deck if there are cards that, if you get them first turn, set you up for the rest of the game. So a couple examples of this might be it binds all things. Sith Holocron. Underworld Connections is another one. So a good example of this is in my Kylo Dooku list, the one that I published. I use Enrage over binds because I want that sort of quick burst early on. I don't want the slow nature of binds. I'd like to be able to play a saber turn 1. Enrage lets you do that. Binds does not. But if you can set yourself up in a position where you can have your binds almost guaranteed turn 1 or a holocron, that seems really good. And when you put binds and holocron together, the odds are pretty decent that you get one of the two. But if you then add in Boundless Ambition, which if you do draw that turn 1 and you play it, you've now seen 5 more cards. So that's a third of your deck you'll have seen. The odds are really good you'll see one of those 4 cards in your 2 binds and your 2 holocrons. And so the way I've been thinking about this card now is it really smooths out your deck. If you have a deck that can run binds and holocron and boundless, the odds are very high with a 5-card mulligan. If you hard mulligan for one of those 6 cards, that you will hit one of those 6. And if it's boundless, there's a really, really good chance you'll end up with a 1, maybe even 2 holocrons in turn 1. And so what this lets you do is ramp up these power decks. So a good example of this is Vader Raider. There's a lot of builds you can do with Vader Raider that don't run any sort of ramping outside of holocron, and maybe I hit it, maybe I don't. But I built Vader Raider the other day now with 2 binds and 2 boundless. And oh my goodness, like being able to guarantee that holocron turn 1 for your Raider, or guarantee a binds that you then use all game and actually put stuff on Vader now because it's so much cheaper. Boy, it just takes a deck like Vader Raider that's already really strong. It has this very high ceiling, but sometimes if it doesn't roll well, it doesn't have a lot of upgrades. If you can put yourself in a spot where you're guaranteed that holocron right from the start, oh my goodness, it becomes so much stronger. So I think what we're seeing right now already is sort of a shift away from range decks. Django is awesome. Nothing changes that. But what does change that is everyone running 2 deflects, everyone running a dodge. A lot of people gravitating towards these it's a trap decks, which are amazing against Django. And because they're so good against Django, people are becoming convinced that these are tier 1 decks and these are the decks to beat. And if enough people start thinking that, Django is in a lot of trouble. And the more trouble Django gets in, the better and the better results we're going to see from these melee decks. As long as the meta doesn't shift before then and react before Worlds. But if we get to Worlds and there's enough Django hate, I think the decks that are going to win are Kylo Dooku decks, Vader Raider decks, and these decks with one of the things that they lack is that consistency, right? They have the very high power level, but if you don't draw your holocron early, sometimes you get in trouble. If you're playing Kylo Dooku and you don't see your Enrage early and you don't see your Kylo Saber early, you can kind of get in trouble. But Boundless Ambition is that card that really smooths this out. What's also great about it is it's good throughout the game. One of my favorite plays is, let's say I play one of them early, and I now have 2 holocrons, right? Because this happens now when you have Boundless. You have 2 holocrons, and you drop your next hand, and you have a Boundless, but you don't really have any force powers. So you just roll out your holocrons. You actually hit them. They leave them, and then you don't play a force power, and they're like, ha ha ha, sucker, you don't have a force power this turn. Boom, I'm never going to deal with them. And then you resolve your other dice, you're going along, they claim, and you just go, Boundless, whoop, 5 more, I'll put a Mind Probe on that guy and a Force Throw on that guy. Those plays are so absurd. So basically what Boundless does is it gives you the consistency in your opening hand. It gives you opportunities mid-game to sort of find those pieces that you're looking for, especially in combination with Holocron. And then late game, it can give you the endless reroll turn to flat win the game at the end of the game when you just need to keep rerolling until you win. It can draw you into outs, like if you're playing against an ATST deck and you want another shot at that deflect, or any other number of cards you can think of to put in there that you can wreck people with. I just really feel like this is the card that has been missing in a lot of decks. That this is the card that is going to up that consistency level, and it's good throughout the game. It's also great for No Mercy. Like, so you get kind of late game, you have a No Mercy in hand, but you know what? You have to reroll. You didn't get any damage. You're like, I'll reroll. It's fine. I get still No Mercy for 3. Oh, I gotta reroll again? Now I can only No Mercy for 2. That looks pretty terrible. And in fact, it's only 1 because I have a dodge. Here's what we'll do. We'll discard the dodge. We'll Boundless Ambition. We're back to 5. Now we can No Mercy for the win. There's just so many good plays you can make with this card, and I love cards like that give you this opportunity to make smart plays with a card all throughout the game. So I urge you, go ahead and give this card a try. I think you're going to find that it really fixes a lot of your problems, frankly, to a scary degree. Good luck with the card. Good luck with the deck. And I think you'll find Boundless to be pretty darn awesome. I'll see you next time on Tiny Grams Games.